Hi, I'm Benjamin Day with Pikes Peak Urban Living and Selly Group Real Estate, and we're doing a piece called Define the Market. A lot of people talk about a buyer's market or a seller's market. What does that mean? And there are a couple different ways of looking at it. The first is measurable, and the first is emotional. And we're going to talk about both of those at the same time. Let's go backwards to the front. Remember the good old days back in 2009 when it was a buyer's market and everyone talked about only it being a buyer's market? What are the characteristics of that? The first thing you should know is that the term market, when it's related to a buyer's market versus a seller's market, has to do with the probability of sale. It has to do with the months of supply. It has to do with something called supply and demand. And our big number is the number 6, because that's where things are neutral. If you're less than 6, you're a seller's market. If you're more than 6, you're a buyer's market. But within that are a couple of pieces of idiosyncrasies. Is it wise to buy into a buyer's market? Not necessarily, because you can buy into a declining buyer's market. And presently right now, not saying not to purchase properties over $500,000, but something to consider is that many houses between 500 and $1 million right now have 12 to 24 months of supply. The only way that those houses sell is if they make radical price cuts to even show up on the radar for the buyers that are out there. Those prices are not staying put. Those prices are declining presently. And so while you can get your money leverage is outstanding, and that may be reason enough right now with the low interest rates to buy those properties, you need to take into consideration, okay, you buy a house and the neighbor that's down the street that's also got a real nice house for sale, you may not have new neighbors for 18 months, and they may buy that house for $50,000 less. That's the term buyer's market because there's 12 to 24 months of inventory. Now, there's a good chunk of the inventory right now between 350 and 500,000 that's operating here in 7 to 12 months of inventory. And in that 7 to 12 months of inventory, what you're seeing is maybe price adjustments. I say the word price cuts, but it's more along the lines of price adjustments. There's some negotiating room. You might see a listing for $465 that you could pick up for $440 and they'd pay the closing costs. That's characteristic of this stage of the buyer's market, which is the price consideration buyer's market. You can get in, get a good price, still be able to negotiate something that's there, negotiate your terms. It's very buyer friendly. And then you just sit and wait because 90 days from now, the market's moving up and you may start appreciating by the end of the year. We've got a good chunk of the market that is in this territory right now, and usually that price range is $350,000 to $500,000. The neutral market means that there's a 6-month supply of properties. So say there were 6,000 listings for sale. You were selling 1,000 of those a month in a marketplace like that. It would take 180 days for all listings to go and sell. We don't have a lot right now that's operating in a neutral marketplace. It seems to be in one of these two marketplaces. Now today, it's May 2012, May 10th. We have 60% of our market is operating over here on the seller's market. We have a good chunk of it where it's probable that they're going to sell, and that means that in their neighborhood, there's less than a 6-month supply of housing that's sitting for sale. But what we're seeing that's pretty dramatic right now, last month we had 60% of all sales were at the average sales price of $221,000, and for those properties, there's only 3.5 months worth of inventory. So for the Colorado Springs MLS right now, from 220 and below, you have only 105 days worth of inventory at the sales rate that things are moving. And as far as we're concerned, those prices are appreciating. And if you're asking about where there's appreciation in the entire marketplace right now, I would wager that many of these properties from 220 and below, they'll probably see a 5% gain in price this year because there's just so few of them and there's such demand for them. If you're looking up here in the declining market, if you're looking for 500 and up, you're probably seeing a negative 5% price drop. And so those are counteracting each other. For the entire market, we're going to say that it's going to probably be a positive 3% year. And the reason we're saying it's a positive 3% year is that there's a lot more business happening over here than there is that's over here. But when someone says, well, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market, keep in mind, while it's a small number historically for us, there's 3,400 homes for sale. It depends on where it is. It depends on what it's priced at. It depends on if it smells like cat pee or not. There's no such thing as a seller's market for a cat pee house. So you need to still be considerate of how you're pricing your property based on your neighbors and based on the other market conditions and how your house smells. Thanks for watching. We hope this was helpful.